Good morning. Welcome to your yoga practice. If you have a folded blanket, that would be helpful, or some blocks or big books. If you don't have any of those things, that's okay. You can still do this today. So we will begin seated in seated mountain. So just find whatever seated pose is comfortable for you. Maybe it's like me where my legs are crossed. I actually prefer to sit on a blanket because it elevates the hips, which helps us keep our spine straight. And or you could also do kind of like a kneeling and sit on a block or a book if you like to sit this way. Whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm gonna start the music. So sitting tall, but not too tall to where you're straining, but also not slouching. Maybe my speaker's gonna die. I think so. I'm gonna turn the music off. This is going really well. Okay. So again, sitting tall, but not too tall to where you're straining yourself, but also don't want to be slouching over. And whatever way you're sitting, maybe find your hands in a comfortable position, whether that's on your knees or your thighs. Maybe you have your palms up. And close down the eyes. And notice your breathing. Try, if you can, to count the seconds between the breaths in order to slow it down. Maybe notice the chest rising and falling, or the belly expanding. We'll move into some sun breaths. So staying in the same pose that you're still in, just to help bring awareness to the breath a little bit more. There's a few options. So when you're inhaling, you can bring your hands up. And as you exhale, bring the hands down. Another option would to be an inhale and expand your arms out to the sides. And exhaling, bringing them back to heart center. And another option could be to bring your hands up into a circle. And as you exhale, coming back down. Whatever feels good for you. Maybe notice what it feels like to take up space this morning. Does it feel uncomfortable? Or does it feel good? Notice just how you're feeling. No judgment, but just noticing, acknowledging. whenever we are stressed, our body tends to lose track of breathing in a calm way. We tend to speed up our breath, become short of breath. And a simple way to calm the body when we're stressed or anxious is to simply notice our breath and try and slow it down. Continuing to stay in your seat, we'll begin some gentle neck rolls. So bring your chin down to your chest and roll your right ear to your right shoulder on the inhale. As you exhale back to center, inhale left ear to left shoulder. Exhale back to center. And continue to do this on your own with your breath for a few rounds. On your next inhale, as you come back to center, bringing the head back up to neutral position. We'll begin some gentle shoulder rolls. So bringing the shoulders up to the ears and rolling them back and down, and then forward and on your own with your own breath, just rolling your shoulders up and back, down and forward. Maybe change the direction, so up and forward, down and back. It can be helpful here to bring your hands to your shoulders and draw circles with your elbows to deepen that a little bit further. Notice the muscles that are being engaged here. Notice how it feels in your shoulders to stretch them out a little bit as we carry, again, stress and tension most often in our necks and our backs. Maybe there's a little bit of uncomfortableness because of the amount of tension you might be carrying. Maybe it feels really nice. Just noticing. And as you exhale, coming back to neutral, we're going to move into tabletop. If you have sensitive knees, you can place a blanket under your knees here. So we want our wrists below our shoulders and our knees below our hips. So there's kind of a straight line. We're not leaning back or too far forward. Just nice and neutral tabletop posture. And you can have your knees together or your knees about as wide as your mat if you're on the mat, and you want your toes together. So we're going to lean back toward our feet and stretch forward, placing our head on the mat. If this is too much for you, you can place your hands on top of each other and place your forehead on your hands like this. Now we're going to stay in this pose, but pick up our hands and move to the left. And feel the stretch in your right side body. Breathe here. Remembering to notice the breath. Slowly on your exhale, coming back to center. And on your next inhale, moving to the right, feeling the stretch in your left side body. And on your next exhale, coming back to center. Coming back to hands and knees, tabletop. Moving into cat-cow. So dipping the belly, raising the chin. On your exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Moving with your breath. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Maybe it feels good to move in circles here. Exploring movement and what feels good for your body this morning. Your next inhale, moving to stand. Standing up straight and tall. Pulling our feet about hip width distance apart. And to help us ground down, Maybe pick up your toes and lay them down slowly to the floor to make a firm foundation through our feet. Maybe imagine all four corners of your feet touching the floor. Standing tall, rooting through the crown, not rooting, but pulling through the crown of your head. Imagining the little puppet string kind of pulling you up to stand straight. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Just standing here strong for a second or two. Moving into tree pose. So you can keep one foot here on your other ankle, kind of as like a kickstand. This is enough for you. You can stay here. You can bring the foot up to your calf and shin, or you can bring it up to your thigh. Don't want to place it on the knee, because you want to protect that knee joint. So either the thigh or the calf. If you're struggling to balance here, find a focus point in front of you, something to stare at and focus on to help you keep your balance. Slowly bringing one arm up at a time. I'm really struggling to balance today. Maybe I'll stay here. At any point you find you're struggling in a pose, remember your breath. Coming back to the breath can help us focus. Slowly coming out on your next exhale. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And the same thing on the other side. So rooting strongly through your other leg. Maybe you just want to stay at a kickstand. Maybe this is enough for you with your hands down by your side. Maybe you want to bring your arms up. Remembering your breath. And then on your next exhale, slowly coming out of it. Okay, you wiggle it out a little. Moving into chair, I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see me a little better. So bringing the hands up. We're going to sit back as if we're about to sit in a chair, but not quite. Holding here. Notice the muscles that are engaged here. Notice how it feels in your body. And slowly coming into forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need here. No need to make them straight. You can place your hands on the mat in front of you. You can fold them into each other and kind of hang like a rag doll. Want to make sure to release any tension in the neck so we're not holding our neck up like this. We're letting it fall and hang. Just hanging kind of like a rag doll. Might feel good to sway side to side. Might feel good to place your hands under your feet for a nice like wrist stretch. And then coming back down to the floor. If you have books or blocks available, you might want them here, but again, if not, you don't need them. We'll lie down on our backs with our knees up in the air. And so we're going to press down through our feet and our shoulders and lift the hips. Again, if you have a block or a book, you could place that under your sacrum for a supported bridge. Your sacrum is the space between your lower back and your glutes, so not quite your butt or your lower back, but that kind of space in the middle. You could use this as a support, or you could just hold here, engaging the core. Bringing the navel in to the spine. Remembering to breathe. One more round of breath. Slowly on your exhale, lowering back to the floor. Go ahead and stretch your legs out in front of you. And bring the arms up above our heads for a full body stretch. Maybe point the toes and feel the stretch all the way up your body to the tip of your fingertips. Maybe do arm circles if that feels nice. And on your next inhale, bring your knees into your chest, if you can. Maybe you hold on to your shins and this is enough. If possible, you could wrap your arms around your knees and kind of give yourself a little hug. Might feel good here to rock side to side for a little lower back massage. You might be missing some physical touch right now, even if you live with someone. Maybe you miss hugging a friend or a family member that is far away or you're not able to see. Maybe imagine sending this hug to them. Slowly releasing. Coming to the side, using our hands to help us sit up. We'll sit up straight and we want our knees bent. And reach your hands out in front of you. We're going to lean back a little bit to engage our core here. Maybe this is enough for you, or if you want to deepen it, you can lift the legs. Engage that core a little more, bringing our navel to our spine. Slowly coming back to neutral, placing our legs flat in front of us. If you have a block you want to use here to not hyperextend the legs, you could place one under each knee if you need the support. Just reaching forward for a seated forward fold. Maybe you want to bend one foot in and bend over the other leg. You could also, if this is painful for your knee, you could place a block or a book here and one under the other knee. Noticing your breath. If you're doing one leg, try switching to the other leg. Slowly coming back up to neutral. We'll lie back down onto our backs. With our knees in the air. We're going to lift the hips and bring them over to the right. And bend the knees to the left for a spinal twist. You might bring your arms out to the side. To deepen this further, you could turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees. So your knees are facing the left, turning the head to face the right. Noticing your breath. Slowly coming back up to neutral. Bringing your hips back to the middle. Maybe windshield wipe the legs here. Notice how it feels. Same thing on the other side. So lifting the hips over to the left. Letting the knees fall to the right. Maybe facing the opposite direction of the knees. On your next inhale, slowly coming back up to neutral. Lifting the hips back to the center. Again, noticing how you feel, maybe windshield like the legs from side to side. Moving into our final resting pose. Do whatever you need to feel comfortable here. Maybe you want to have a blanket under your head as a pillow. Sometimes I like to fold the blanket and place it under my knees. Or you could cover yourself with a blanket if you're feeling cold. Whatever you need to feel most at rest here. Lying back down. Releasing any tension you might be still feeling in your body. Making any adjustments you need. Closing down the eyes. Notice how your body feels after moving a little bit this morning. Maybe you feel some sense of relief. Maybe it feels good to move. Maybe you're sitting more than normal during this time. And it feels good to just move a little more than you're used to. Again, no judgment for whatever you're feeling today, but just recognizing and noticing. Remembering you can always come back to the breath. Slowly inviting movement back to your body. Wiggle the feet or the toes. Do some wrist circles. When you're ready, slowly moving to one side. Bending the knees, folding into yourself here. just for a couple of seconds. When you're ready, using your hands to help you come back to a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to heart center. Giving yourself gratitude for making time for this practice today. And sending gratitude to those who practice with you. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.